Hello? Oh, hi, darling.
Half a world away, another day. So let's go play on the moon. It's a starry place. We embrace the space while we're miles away on the moon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live taping of On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs. I am happy to be back. I am happy to be live. I come back to you a broken woman. I am in shambles. I still don't feel like myself. I am so tired. I still don't really have my voice all the way back, so I sound nasally and disgusting. Apologies for that. I was on an RV for 2 weeks. Thank you guys for watching the episodes even while I was away. The nice messages about them made me feel really good. So that was something that I definitely needed on the show. I'm very happy to be back live. Gia, what's going on? How are you? Feeling good?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back too. I feel like it's been a while.
I know. I always like doing live too more than the pre-tapes, just because it's just like, I don't know. It's just, It feels a little more silly.
No,
I'm a little
live is
more
so
like
much
loose
better.
at night.
Yeah, totally agreed.
So it's a lot of fun. But yes, we're happy to be back in the saddle. Happy to be here. It's a nice weekend so far in New York City for those who are here. Today was a beautiful day. Yesterday was raining and disgusting in the afternoon, but pretty hot in the morning. Don't know why I'm giving a weather report. It's just kind of nice to like have a couple days where it's not fucking miserable. And so I'm celebratory of that. I think that it's been a weird week back, first week back. I think that not sure if my sleep schedule is ever going to return to normal, but we will keep our fingers crossed for those things to happen. Let's just hope that it's happening. Let's hope that I feel great moving forward. Hope that we all feel great moving forward. I am excited for you guys to see what we put together on Barstool vs. America. It will air at the end of June, which is a long time for me to think about all the things that I did on the show before I get to see what I did on the show. So that's going to be a little stressful. But in the meantime, let us get back to On the Other Line. Let us get back to today's topic, which is breakups. And let's set the mood as we talk about it. All right. I love this topic. I love hearing about breakups. I love talking about breakups. I think that it's cathartic. I think that it's interesting. I think that the more vulnerable you are about a situation, the more exciting it is to hear about, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't really know if that's like a logical thing or a normal way to think about it, but it's just nice to know you're not alone sometimes when you hear these different stories about people going through breakups or going through tough times and their relationships and whatever. It's just, it's interesting to see that everybody really does go through it. Everybody really, they do be feeling broken up with, you know, sometimes. So I think that when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about today, I was trying to Google what the different kinds of breakups there are, because I feel like there are different kinds of breakups. Some of them don't matter at all. Some of them like shake you to your core and you can't breathe for years, like, and others are just kind of come and go, and they change based on how old you are and whatever. And I feel like I found this interesting list from 2010, which I think still holds true, from Marie Claire. Gia, I don't know if we have do we have a link for that? I can just go through it if we don't.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Let's throw it up for a sec just so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to go down. They listed the top 7 types of breakups, and this is in reverse order. The first, the least impactful, whatever, is the mutual breakup. And I think that this is the best scenario every time around. I don't think I've ever had a mutual breakup. I think it's always been one-sided, either my side or the other side, doesn't really matter. I'm not really sure if a peaceful breakup exists in my world, and you know, power to those who can do it. I see this people, I don't know what that example was in there, that's like grandpa's freed of his misery. I don't know what the fuck that was, but really weird shit.
It says like when the entire family agrees it's time to pull the plug on grandpa's respirator.
Fuck.
He is freed of his misery and the family feels a sense of relief.
Clearly I didn't read this thoroughly. It's like, I mean, I guess it is kind of like that. Like if you're going through a really bad breakup and you both like fucking hate each other and you finally get to break up, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Kind of a good, what's the word?
Like analogy?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now that you say it and I think about it, it is a pretty good analogy. But yeah, mutual breakup, I think, obviously is the best case scenario. I have heard very few tales of this working out the way that people intend it to. So, you know, if that's what you've got in your corner, if that's what you've got going on in your life, congratulations, because that sounds nice. The next one is the circumstantial breakup. And I forget what they wrote about this one, but it's more of like, it's you break up because someone's moving away, or somebody is, you know, going off to college, or you're just not, the convenience factor is no longer there. I think that that's an interesting way to describe it. And I think that those are almost easier, I think, than the mutual breakup, because it's kind of like, whoops, I'm going away, or like, whoops, I gotta get out of town, and unfortunately there's no room in the car for you. Like, it's just, that to me seems a little bit easier. I think that that is probably immature to think of it like that. It's just kind of like a whoops, out of sight, out of mind, I don't have to deal with it anymore. Like, oh yes, I'm sad, but I'm in a new place and far away, so it's less sad. I think that it sucks for someone who, in that situation, if it's circumstantial and somebody goes away to college, the person that like stays home and has to live in the same spot with all the memories, that's tough. That's tough for them. But again, if you're on the other side of that, feels pretty good. Oh, also I realized I didn't say anything. This is a shirt that I got from somebody in Boston. It says pinkies up for Keith, because that's my thing. Also, I have merch coming soon. Get excited for that. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it yet, but I do. So get excited. It reminded me. But pinkies up reminded me. I was given this. It's created for me, and it's green to match this set specifically. So I wore it tonight. Shout out to my new bestie that I met in Boston, who brought me this gift and wrote me the sweetest note of all time. I literally cried. I didn't even know that people like give gifts and stuff. Like, that's just incredibly sweet. And so that was a highlight of the trip I was just on. But I forgot to mention this earlier. Anyway. The next breakup would be the ultimatum breakup, which this one is one that I am not personally familiar with, but I feel like I can speak on it because a lot of my friends are kind of were or have been in these situations. I would say this one kind of falls into the category of either like move in with me or we're breaking up, or propose to me or we're breaking up, or like, you know, move to my city or we're breaking up. Like, there's always some kind of extenuating circumstance that makes this breakup either worth it, happening, not happening. It could go either way depending on like a reaction. Like, so I don't know. I don't feel great about an ultimatum breakup. I think that if you have to give someone an ultimatum, isn't that the answer? Like, I feel like I don't want to have to pull an answer out of somebody. Like, if I don't want to have to pull, like, and I love you out of somebody, like, tell me you love me or else we break up, or propose to me or else we break up. It's like, well, if you're so easily, you know, to like let someone break up, or they're dragging their feet or whatever, like, maybe a different conversation needs to be had. But I don't know. Gia, what do you think about ultimatums when it comes to relationships generally?
I couldn't agree more with what you just said.
Yeah, it's just like a little.
They should want to get married to you.
Right?
They should want to like say I love you. Like, I think in the show, like the ultimatum, like
yeah,
all of those couples should have just broken up.
That show's fucking crazy, by the way. I love that show. I think we talked about it a little bit, but I loved that show.
Yeah.
But agreed. Like, it's almost like, I mean, and you can't force somebody to say I love you, or force somebody to, like, you know, be in your orbit or whatever. It feels kind of forcey. Like, it feels like a, you know, whatever. And if this person's dragging their fucking feet on like a big decision like this, what else are they going to drag their feet on? You know what I mean? Could be an issue for you later down the road. I don't know. I'm just thinking ahead. Maybe that's high maintenance. I don't know. Just maybe I know my worth. Okay. The next one is the something someone said breakup. And that one was described as somebody has said something that upset someone else in the relationship, and there's just like no moving past it. Like, there's just a line was crossed, a boundary was broken, somebody went for the jugular, and there is just no repairing it. It's too difficult. This I feel like happens all the time. Like, I feel like this one maybe happens the most. Like, people will say things out of anger, people will say things out of frustration or sadness or like feeling hurt or whatever, and they just put their foot right in their mouth. Like, they just really screw themselves over. I've definitely done this before. I've definitely like gotten too mad in a situation and like said things to hurt on purpose because I felt like that was what I needed to do. And it's definitely happened to me. And rarely do I stick my ground on it, though. I think that I'll act hurt for a few days, and I'll be like, you know, because I am genuinely hurt if these things happen. I'll be upset for a few days, but really an apology is like all that really needs to happen. Like, it's not such a big deal. I guess if you are like insulting someone's fundamentals and things like that, then it's like, all right, well, we got to break up. Like, you clearly hate me, so what's the fucking deal? But I think that in that scenario. It's just, it always comes from a place of emotion. And I feel like, yeah, emotions are important in relationships, and emotions are an important part of a breakup, obviously, but I would never want that to be the breakup. Like some awful conversation where we're both terrible to each other, and then like you just break up and that's the end of it. Like, where's the closure in that? Where's the respect in that? Respect for the relationship, respect for the feelings that you have for each other. Can't have that. The number 3, going, remember, reverse order, the I've been cheating breakup, which is another one I think that we see all the time. I think people cheat a lot. And I think that people get cheated on a lot. And it's always like at the crux of pop culture shows and movies and everything. Like, how many movies have we seen where like the husband's cheated and the wife went crazy and like killed the, you know, crime of passion all over the place? Every Lifetime movie is basically based on this idea, and Lifetime fucking kills it. So I don't know how, like, I know how that feels to be cheated on, and that's super shitty. And I think that it's not like as funny when you think about your own situation, but I feel like people get detached thinking about other people's cheating situations. Like, it's almost like, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand. I think my boy John Mulaney has part of his stand-up. He always was like, or he said something along the lines of like, I never understood why people like would get cheated on. They would murder somebody, and then I got cheated on, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it, but I get it. And I was like, yeah, sometimes you just wanna lose your fucking mind if this happens to you. It's really shitty, but. And then, yeah, I guess break up if you can't work through it. Like, I don't know what kind of person, you know, can fully work through it and not hold that resentment. I am not good at that. I hold a lot of resentment a lot of times. I try not to. I try really hard not to hold resentment towards people. I feel resentment towards cheating sometimes. All right, 2 is the first love breakup. This one, I think, is the worst. This one should be the number 1. Like, first love breakup, it's just your soul leaves your body and it almost never comes back. Like, it's one of those like learning moments in your life where you just are like, wow, fuck, I have to deal with this. Something is going on, and I don't know if I can like pull myself out of it. This is where you need to call your parents, you need to call your friends, you need to call everybody in to help peel you off the bathroom floor because you've been crying all night. Like, that's the kind of shit that happens when your first love breaks up with you. And it's so painful. And it usually happens in your like most dramatic years too. Like, usually maybe in your teens or early 20s, you'll have like a first love experience. Some people later, like that's not always, you know, cookie cutter, but I think that it's supposed to be dramatic and it's supposed to be painful because it's something that you can compare other experiences to. Like, I think it makes future breakups a lot easier to deal with. It kind of is like, all right, well, at least it wasn't like that, or at least I'm not, you know, crying into a tub of ice cream watching Bridget Jones again. Like, it's just those kind of things. So I think that, in my opinion, is definitely the worst. What this article says is the worst, though, is The Blind Side. I do agree that this is a terrible one. And I do think that this blindside one kind of coincides with a lot of these other ones. I think that, especially like ultimatum, like sometimes if a girl is giving a guy an ultimatum, he has like no idea it's coming. So it's kind of like, oh fuck, like I'm either gonna get dumped or whatever. And that's kind of like, it's kind of like a gotcha a little bit. But I think that a blindside breakup, when you are just walking along thinking, you know, it's all like, what is it, sugar plums and gumdrops. Like, it's just fantastic. You feel great. You've got a pep in your step all the time. You come home one day and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're breaking up and I'm leaving. And it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, how do you even get through that? Gia, have you had, not you personally, but have you ever had to deal with someone that's going through like a blindside breakup? Like a friend who's like gone fucking through it.
Honestly,
because it's
not. I mean, when I got broken up with in my senior year of high school, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever. I mean, my friends had to deal with me. If that's,
well, then so then you understand. So you're prepared for like if ever it happens to one of them. That's exactly how I feel, because my friends have had to deal with me like that, and I am always prepared for their shit because I'm like, you guys were there for me. You were the most important people to me at that time, like pulling me out of this funk. Yeah. And I feel like that's always like, it's just, it sucks so bad. It's the fucking worst. It's a terrible feeling.
I feel like all of my friends have been the breaker upper.
Yeah.
So I like know ahead of time before like anything happens.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You've gained valuable knowledge. Like, that heartbreak you have is like valuable knowledge. Like, these girls, it'll come for them one day. Nobody can escape a heartbreak. Like, it all come in different ways, but it'll always come. And it's always great to get them out of the way, honestly, because it just feels better generally. But okay, so those are the seven that this article from Marie Claire came up with. I think that they did a pretty good job. I think that it still kind of applies. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your bullshit. So we're going to go to a break, but then we come back. We're going to take some calls. The number is 888-STOOL22. Looking forward to chatting. And welcome back to On the Other Line. As always, I'm your host, Kelly Keegs. We are entering my favorite part of the show where we get to take calls. We get to discuss what the audience feels, how you guys think, what you guys want to talk about. I love it. It's my favorite. It is the Ask the Stars segment. So let us answer the phones. We have Cassie from Atlantic City. She wants to talk about a situationship, which I love that word, actually, a lot. Cassie, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What's going on, girlfriend? Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fabulous. You know me, just hanging out on my little set. I feel comfortable in this place because it feels like my living room, so I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad. I feel comfortable calling in.
Good. Oh, that makes me feel good. Thank you for saying that.
So I have a story to tell about a situationship
Let's
from
hear it.
high school.
Ooh, let's hear it. I love it.
So I was hooking up with this guy. I was a senior in high school, and he was like 2 years older. So I thought I was like hot shit, like hooking up with him.
Yeah.
And as we're hooking up, it's been going on for like a few months now, and all of a sudden we're having like this heart to heart, and he tells me, you know, I really like you, but I actually have this like really big crush on one of my friends. But you know, the more I talk to you and the more we keep hanging out, aka hooking up, the more I'll start to like you.
Oh God.
Okay, I mean, meanwhile, like I'm in high school, so just remember.
Right, yes, exactly. God.
Yeah, totally makes sense. I'm like, that's so logical. Like
right.
The more we hang out, the more you like me, the less you like her. Totally fine. So like we continue hooking up for like a little bit longer. All of a sudden, like prom night comes around. He's at the prom dancing with the girl he has a crush on right in front of me.
Oh.
Kissing her. Yeah, this wasn't even the breakup yet. So
I'm dying.
So
Okay.
I said to one of my friends that night, telling like how I'm so upset about this whole situation, how he doesn't even like me, whatever. The breakup comes maybe like a month later, as I'm on a family vacation.
Stop.
Where he rage texts me.
Stop.
Saying like, you're an awful person. I can't believe you would do this to me. That person, you told this person about what happened. They told their brother and called me out in front of an entire party.
What?
Yeah, so apparently he got called out in front of the entire party about the crush he had on one of his friends.
Well, it's like too fucking bad. Like, first of all, wait, is this the same crush on his friend, like that he was dancing with this person at the dance?
Yup, he like.
Okay, so it's like no fucking secret. Like, it's no secret. Why is he so bent out of shape about? What the fuck? Men are trifling. Always. Anyway, keep going.
After that, I was like, yo, fuck this kid. Like, this is not okay. Finally, like, I was like, okay, this is a sign we're finally, like, over. I'm over this. After he rage texted me. So at least I have, like, some semblance of, like, respect left in my body.
Right. I mean, this whole story, like, top to bottom, is so typical high school that it makes me, like, sick that we even dealt with this. Like, I did, because I would deal with very similar situations where it's like I would be liking a guy and they'd be like, oh, yeah, like, I love spending time with you, but, like, not trying to be your boyfriend. Like, it was never really exclusively said. It was very much like, I learned a term kind of recently called breadcrumbing. Do you know that term? I, like, had never heard it before, and then somebody said it, like, I think a couple years ago I heard it, and I was like, oh, interesting. Where they just kind of like, they don't give you everything, but they kind of keep you on the line just in case, and it like gives you hope, and it makes you feel like shit and whatever. And I feel like I've never been like breadcrumbed harder than in high school. Like, it just was, it was just all these boys trying to like fuck multiple people at once, like having crushes over here, doing this, doing that, and just being so disrespectful about it. Like, he's telling you that he has a crush on this girl, and then he's gonna like cupcake with her at the dance in front of you. It's like, that's so fucked up. Well, if you're gonna dance with this girl and like whisper sweet nothings in her ear at the dance, then don't like have sex with me outside. Like, this is fucked up, you know? People are so selfish.
Like, the of like high school relationships just like keep
Always.
you hooked on.
Always.
I will say that like a few years later,
Mm-hmm.
we're like, we obviously like live in the same town during
course.
summers. Like everyone goes out to the same bars.
Of course.
So he did come up to me one summer, and we were like talking for a little bit, just like being cordial and friendly.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, the one thing that I regret most was like the way I treated you in the relationship.
Of
and
course.
I was like, you know what? Like, fuck yeah.
That's nice. That's nice of you to say, but that's the one thing you regret most. Like, he in his whole life, the one thing he regrets most is how he treated you in high school. It's like, bitch, get out. I don't want to hear your fucking words. You were an asshole. That's it. Like, thank you for the apology, but you were a dickhead. Like, what the fuck? I'm proud of you, though, for not just running it back and hooking up with him, though. I would have. I would have been like, well, you're here now. Bygones be bygones. Like, do you like me now if we spend time together? Like, just crazy shit. So I commend you for that. But seriously, what the fuck? Like, these people, I swear, they've lost their minds.
Him and my boyfriend now, like my current boyfriend, play on like their flag football team together and all that stuff, and I'm just have to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, like he wasn't very nice to me in high school, and like my boyfriend's like, what an asshole.
Yeah, that's perfect. You always gotta get the numbers against him present day. Be like, oh yeah, like, oh, you thought people would forget how you were in high school? I haven't, and I'm telling my boyfriend, and he's gonna tell all the other guys in the intramural team. So forget it. You're never gonna be popular just like you thought you were. That's the revenge. That's the only kind of revenge you can get.
The best revenge.
It's fantastic. Cassie, thank you so much for calling with that story. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Bye. Oh my goodness. That's the kind of shit. I die laughing over that because, again, what was, like, I didn't even really talk about it with her on the phone. What the fuck was that breakup? Like, this man was just looking for an excuse. And again, it's high school. Everybody acts like a dickhead in high school. We know this. But why is he using some excuse of, like, people now, it's like confirmed that I had this crush? Like, why were we so hung up about people knowing that we had crushes in high school and stuff? Like, why? I don't know. I feel like if I knew somebody had a crush on me, I'd probably look at them differently. Like, I maybe like would avoid them if I didn't like them, which maybe I guess is the fear of like people finding out that they have crushes. But if it's like a normal crush and you're a normal person, what are you worrying about? Who cares? Like, it's not so bad. I think that like people don't give themselves enough credit. Like, maybe people do like you, and maybe that they just don't want to say it because they're nervous. And I think that this guy, causing some big fucking ruckus, texting her on a family vacation, like being a total dickhead, just to be like, use it as an excuse to kind of break it off because now this girl knows he has a crush on it. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta cut off all my resources in case this girl, now finding out that I have a crush on her, wants to date me. I can't have anybody on the line anymore. That's exactly what that was. And it doesn't sound like it worked out for him. Sounds like he's still doing the same shit. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Gia, what do we have? What do we have as far as our little DMs? We got some. I put some DMs up as well in case people weren't wanting to call all night long. And I think that we had a couple silly ones in there that I like. Yeah, just a couple, and then we'll hit another break. Okay. Broke up with one guy 5 different times over 5 years, over text, in person, ghosted all the ways. I love that. Sometimes it just doesn't stick. Sometimes you have to break up with them in every single way. And I worry sometimes that I am this person, not the person breaking up, the person who needs to be broken up with in a million different ways. Because sometimes it just doesn't sit right with me. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, you're breaking up with me? Well, are you sure? Because we have some things to discuss. So let me write a really long email about it, and then we can discuss everything that I want to talk about, because I'm not really accepting this breakup at the moment. And I think that that's definitely a flaw. That's definitely not a thing to brag about. But sometimes you just want a full explanation. Sometimes, like, if it's a text, it obviously can't be a text. I refuse to get broken up with via text. That's insane. In person, that's pretty legit. You should probably believe them. But maybe they had a bad day. You never know. Like, maybe it's just not what they were expecting. Ghosting is unacceptable. Never fucking ghost somebody. That's disgusting. Although I have ghosted people, so it's not, I'm throwing stones from my glass house, but it's a gross way to behave yourself. Don't do it. And then, I don't know, just every other form of it, I think, is sometimes it just doesn't sink in quite right. Okay, what else do we have? Guy told me he loved me for the first time while breaking up with me on my couch. That's tough. I read this DM before and I created like a fake scenario in my head. In my head, I bet the problem here was that you guys were both like too afraid to say I love you the whole time. And then it finally got to the point where you were just breaking up. And so he probably was like, I love you, but we're breaking up. Like it probably has to be that way, which is terrifying. That fucking sucks. Like maybe if you guys were able to like talk about it sooner, things would have been different. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't know if I want somebody like laying on the I love yous pretty thick while they're literally kicking my ass out the door. Like it's almost like, if you haven't said it by now, don't now say it as you're like, you know, you don't love me now. Like you maybe loved the idea of me. You maybe loved like some of the good times, but you're literally breaking up with me. So I feel like this is probably just not the move, you know? I don't know. What else? We'll do one more and then we'll hit a break. Let's see. Ex was fucking my roommate, but I only noticed when our unused condoms went missing. I am like a little confused by this. So they were, I guess the ex was in the house and taking condoms. Would you automatically assume like that's my ex-boyfriend fucking my roommate? Like I feel like I would just assume like, oh, my roommate is like using my condoms for some reason or like taking my condoms. Like what's the problem there? But I would have found out way before then. Like I mean, first of all, I always think that young people try to like be besties with their roomie's boyfriend or whatever, but there's always some like weird moments if it's like late at night or like they're not home yet, but you know, the girlfriend's not home, but the boyfriend's like in the apartment waiting for her and the roommate is there. Like those situations to me just scream like some sort of like tragic rom-com where the roommate and the boyfriend actually realize how great they are together and then like it gets fucked up with the relationship. I don't know. I never want my like roommate hanging around my boyfriend. Like unless we're like all really good friends. Like it's just like a level of trust you really have to have, especially if it's not like your best friend roommate. I don't trust those bitches, you know what I mean? Like if it's your best friend, okay, yeah, then you have like a whole nother thing to deal with if they're fucking around on you. But otherwise, keep them separate as far away as you can because bitches are crazy and so are guys as well. Okay, let's hit a break and then we'll come back and take more calls, read more DMs. Mwah. And welcome back. We have a couple of callers lining up right now, so we're gonna wait for that. Before we get into that, I can't believe that I didn't, at the beginning of the show, talk about the show that I'm watching right now. It kind of fits in with what we're talking about today. I just started Conversations with Friends on Hulu, the like Sally Rooney book turned show. Sally Rooney also wrote Normal People. If you guys are into that, you better be fucking into that. I fucking loved that show. I loved that book. I didn't read Conversations with Friends, but I regret it because I'm loving the story so far. But the biggest draw, I think, at the moment is the fact that Joe Alwyn is in it. Taylor Swift's boyfriend, obviously, and holy Christ, is that man hot. I am just blown away by him. He plays this like shy guy, like he's like a shy actor somehow. Like it's ridiculous. Like he's such I don't know. I have like almost no words to describe him. He's just like is fantastic in the role. But the whole point of the show is that he's married to Jemima Kirk. I forget her character's name. She's a writer, and their marriage is like a little strained sometimes based on like affairs and things like that. And there's these other two girls who are in the show. I don't know. It's fantastic. You got to watch it. I'm on like episode 5 and I'm obsessed with it. But I just was checking Twitter, seeing what was going on. Right now the Billboard Music Awards are going on, but trending at the same time is Joe Alwyn. So I'm telling you right now, he is worth watching, and we gotta watch it. Let's go. We have Mark from New York. Wants to talk about breakups. Mark, what's going on?
Hey, Kelly. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Thanks for calling.
First of all, of course, let's go Pens. First of all, Game 7 happening right now.
For sure. Oh, yeah, yeah. Important shit going on.
Breakup about a breakup I went through about a year and a half ago.
Damn, sorry about that.
We were dating for about, tough. We were dating for about 4 months, and then she told me in confidence, like, a lot of shit she'd been through that I was not totally unaware of, and if I would have known that going into the relationship, I probably wouldn't have gotten involved.
Damn.
But we were friends for a long time before. It was a lot of off and on stuff. I actually asked her out before we even started dating, and she said no, but wanted to stay friends. So of course I, stayed in the friend zone so I could still have a chance. Anyways, fast forward, we're dating for 4 months. She breaks this news to me, and I'm like, I need a break. Like, let's take a break for like 2 weeks or something just to get my head straight. And she said an adamant no. either we're going to continue dating, work on it together, or we're breaking up. So I decided that, you know what, I'll power through, stay in the relationship. Actually, I got her a therapist, got myself a therapist. We dated for another maybe 4 or 5 months.
Oof.
And we broke up it wasn't very clean. Just she was very unhappy about it. Didn't think that was the right move. But
yeah.
you know, what are you gonna do? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on like a tough situation like that, where you kind of get yourself into somewhere that you didn't expect to be, and you know you're dealing with someone else's emotions, and you're also trying to balance your own side of things. It can get really messy.
That is messy, and I'm sorry, that fucking sucks. It always sucks when situations like that come up, especially when I think you were not in the wrong to be hesitant upon hearing new information that you just like for a long time. You said 4 months before you were hearing like this new shit that kind of like shook you a little bit. That's a long time to like not even bring up, especially if it's something that's like not a deal breaker, but if it's something that maybe is something that has to be processed, I feel like it's better to bring those things up sooner rather than later, only because like, I don't know, people can get scared away. Like you're allowed to feel like, whoops, that's actually too much for me to handle. Like that's past my emotional bandwidth. I now feel like you need to solve these issues on your own, and I am like not gonna be helpful in this situation. Like those feelings are valid to have. I think that, the flip side of her not wanting to give you some space to think about that is also tough. I think, well, here's my next question to you. Were you wanting this break to kind of like separate from the issue itself and take time to think, or were you wanting this break to like go out and like fuck around? Like I feel like girls always assume that breaks mean I want to go out and fuck around.
Well, yeah, no, that wasn't really the break for me. Was just to get some mental space for myself.
Yeah.
Because you know it was kind of like a lot of shit she had gone through in the past.
Yeah.
She never opened up to anyone about it, and I wasn't really ready to be that emotional workhorse and help her through it at that point. I needed to focus on myself. That's what I was thinking. Like a break would be healthy. Get my head straight, and then approach come back to the relationship and look at it with through a new lens. But I didn't get that chance.
Yeah, like that's a situation where I probably would be more on your side than hers. I feel like I've been in situations like that where maybe we've like needed to take some space or take some time or whatever, and I think that maybe earlier on in my life I would be really hesitant to do that for fear of it, like just us, like it turning into a real breakup, like it turning into like actually we've lost everything. It's so rare that people come out of a break unscathed. I feel like it's got such a negative connotation with it. I feel like being on a break shouldn't be like the big thing that it is. Like it should just be like, all right, let's take a minute. We have all the time in the world. There are no walls to this time limit. Like there's nothing that we have to worry about. Like 2 weeks is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Like how come we can't just like take 2 weeks to see if we miss each other and see if I can like process this and deal with this? Because if I'm thinking long term, I want to be able to know that I can process something like this and be there for you for it. And if I can't be that person for you, then I'm not going to keep wasting our time. I would almost like, I don't know, I would like prefer it if it was if that was really how you felt and you were like, I need some time to think about this, and I'm not just out there trying to like find somebody new, which like I said is always kind of like the connotation that comes with breaks, then I don't know, it sounds really shitty. It sounds like it wasn't well received. I commend you for trying though. I commend you for trying, for doing therapy, each doing therapy, trying to hang on, trying to work through it. I bet that helped both of you in ways that you didn't realize, whether or not the relationship worked or not. I bet it still was helpful for everybody involved, even if it feels really shitty, and even if she like maybe still has resentment or whatever present day. What's it like present day? Are you guys cordial?
Not so much. We shared a lot of mutual friends.
The worst.
Bad.
The worst.
A couple weeks or let's say a month or two afterwards, we would still like, we'd still text, we'd still like kind of try to go out of the way to see each other and just kind of try to pretend things were normal.
For sure.
But of course, that's not how things went. You end up like hooking up like a couple times after that. And
I was going to say,
at the end of the day, I called it. I was like, hey, like we can't really kind of like bump into each other like this anymore. and I cut off. I was like, you know, like, if you ever need me, feel free to reach out, but like, we can't have a constant, you know, text chain going on.
Right.
It's not healthy for us.
Totally. Yeah, you need that separation.
now
You said a while ago you wanted that separation. It's like now you finally have the chance to have that separation. Like, let yourself have that separation for sure. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn, Mark.
I've been there like once or twice, and she I kind of like didn't brush her off, but I wasn't ready to go through the conversation that I knew she wanted to have with me.
Yeah.
So I kind of just exited the situation. I got a really angry text afterwards, like, you know, how could you treat me like that? And I was like, you know what, I'm looking out for myself. I'm sorry that's how, you know, I'm sorry this is the situation, but I'm looking out for myself. You know, it's really tough.
That's how it goes down sometimes. And it feels shitty. And I feel like this is something, too, that I've learned, like, with age. It's just, like, guys feel bad, too. Like, I feel like girls always assume that the guys, like, never feel bad about shit. Like, they're breaking up and they're just going to go find the next, like, you know, pussy. Like, that's all they're worried about. That's vulgar. But that's just, like, all girls ever worry about. Like, they worry about people having similar experiences and enjoying themselves more, but with different people. Like that's what I'm so hung up on all the time. Like I'll see like an ex go to a restaurant that like we went to one time, and I'll be like, well, what the fuck? Like, how dare he go to that restaurant with her? Like, we had a magical time there. Like, how dare he try to make a new memory with a new person? Like, it's that kind of stuff that like girls get so hung up on, and that's why they feel so like personally offended by a breakup like this, where it's like, it's not always all about you. Like, you're not always the only one in the situation. I feel like that happens a lot more so on like the girl side. But we got to be a little more patient with our guys who feel bad and who need to focus on ourselves. And Mark, I feel like you're that kind of guy, and I commend you for trying. It sounds like you did. You sound like a good guy.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Kelly. Pleasure to talk with you.
Of course. Great talking to you too. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Let's go Pens.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Pens. That's hockey, right? I think. Pens. Pittsburgh, maybe. Penguins. I don't know. Let's go. I see you, my girl Jillian from Long Island. Jillian, what's up, girl?
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you? I'm so happy to see your name. What's going on?
My birthday week, so that's always.
Oh my God! Happy almost birthday. What day is your actual birthday?
It's on Friday, the 20th.
Fabulous. Oh, hello, Eve. I hear her in the background as well. What's going on, girls?
Yeah,
oh, that's fantastic. Do you have big birthday plans? What are you doing? Oh, I'm just hitting my phone.
Well, I actually have a job interview on my birthday, so that's not.
Oh,
really
shit.
fun,
Okay, that does suck. It sucks.
I get to take the day off from work, so I guess it's an excuse.
That's good. That's also good, too, to be like, hey, I'm just taking the day off for my birthday, but it's like job interview. Love that. That's just efficient.
Yeah, my friends from school are going to come to Long Island. We're going to go out. So that'll be fun.
Excellent. Excellent. I love hearing that. I think that will be...
My friend Cassie, actually, who just called in, she'll be up here on Saturday.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, my God. I forgot. All the friends are all over the place. Oh, that's wonderful. I love hearing that.
She was my roommate sophomore year of college.
Excellent, excellent. Ooh, so fun. I love that. I love that so much. I think that I hope that you have a good birthday week. Birthday weeks are the most fun. Like just celebrating every single day. It's the best. I love it.
Exactly.
Just making it all about you the whole time. Make sure you do that. It's the best feeling. But so what do you want to chat about today? What is this? I see on your thing, Hinge gone wrong. Oh no. What's going on with Hinge? I'm so afraid of dating apps. I'm terrified.
Dating apps we have, I mean, that's the only way to really find people nowadays.
Yeah.
You just got to swipe left, right, hopefully you find someone. So like a year and a half ago I matched with this kid and it was like going great. We went on like a bunch of dates, like we were probably talking about for like 4 months. Then he decided to end things out of nowhere because he had family issues, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I heard about your family issues, like whatever. I was like, you can't work this out? Like you don't want someone to help you with your family issues?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I think I need to do this on my own. I was like, all right, whatever. So, you know, pretty crushed because, like, we were talking for a pretty long time. Like,
Damn.
He met my family, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, the worst. I hate that. I hate when you finally introduce a family and then it's like 5 minutes later, it's like, fuck. I told my parents, I'm like, you guys are not meeting anybody ever again. Like, I just can't deal with it because they get attached. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So then maybe like about a month later or a month and a half later, I'm like swiping on Instagram and I come across this post. I was like, oh, it was like a picture this girl posted of like this boy sitting in a car. I was like, oh, that's so cute. They're eating pizza in their car. I'm just swiping by. I'm at the gym. I was like, wait, let me go back to that post. I was like,
no.
This shit looks awfully familiar. So I go back to the post, and this girl who I used to know from cheerleading is now dating this boy who I was talking to. So, you know, I'm just stalking on social media. Now I'm in deep. So I have to go back. I find like her Instagram, I go on her stories, her
course.
TikTok, you know, because now I'm just in like pure investigation mode. And it turns out he was talking to her the same time he was talking to me, and he ended things with me to now be with this girl. And I found out through social media.
Jillian, that's horrible. That's a horrible
Right?
story. That's the worst.
I'm like, what a way to find out that he lied.
Oh,
And
my
to,
God.
you know, be with another girl who I know through like mutual people.
That's so insane, and I feel like guys always do this. Like, maybe girls do it too, and I just don't notice as much because, like, you know, whatever. Maybe girls are just smarter at like hiding shit like this. Guys always get caught. They always get caught doing shady shit. Like, no matter what.
I feel like they think we're stupid, but like girls are like the best investigators. On
Too
social
smart.
Media. Like, I'm like, give us 10 minutes, we can find anything out on social media.
1,000,000,000%. We know all the tricks.
Stalking, I was like, holy shit, like, I just connected all the puzzle pieces, and I like dated it back from a couple months. I was like, he was talking to both of us at the same time.
That's literally the worst, and it truly is, because it's like because then you think back to the situation yourself, and you start questioning, like, damn, was I taking this too seriously? Like, what was he saying to her? Was he saying the same stuff to the both of us? Like, I feel like I'm on the fence always about whether or not I think it's okay to be like talking to multiple people at a time. Like, I feel like, first of all, I don't know how anybody has the energy to talk to multiple people at a time. Like, that's just like, I'm fucking tired. I'm giving it my all. Like, I can barely like hold this one conversation, let alone like think about people who are wanting to sext all the time and stuff. Imagine sexting like multiple people at a time. Like, it's fucking exhausting to even like work up the courage to send like a cute selfie. Like, it's literally insane. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way. But then to, like you said, find out on social media, see it, being able to kind of check the timestamps a little bit, it is just a nightmare. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to stop this epidemic of people doing this, because it's a lot.
Yep, and guys just need to realize, like, we're not fucking stupid. We can figure everything out. Like, don't lie. Just
exactly.
Tell the truth from the start. And
just tell the truth.
Little lie that you came up with.
That's the one thing that I say all the time. I was at my bestie's bridal shower yesterday, and she had like one of those like card things that was like advice for a relationship, advice for like a long-lasting marriage, whatever, like one of those things. Super cute. I always feel weird doing them because I'm not like married, so I always am like, well, advice for a long-lasting marriage is like, I don't know, like hang out with each other a lot. I don't know, like be cool with each other. But what I always write on those cards, if ever I'm like at a bridal shower or something, is always be honest, because I feel like that's the number one thing that people just have the hardest time being. Like, just be honest about like what you're doing, how you're feeling right from the jump, because then once you establish this like honesty and trust, then everything gets easier moving forward. Like, you don't feel uncomfortable like explaining your feelings or explaining like what you're doing or what you're up to. You don't set expectations at a place where like that you can't even reach it yourself. There's so many like benefits that come with just being honest, and these bitches, they never realize it. They never remember. Damn. Jillian, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's shitty. I'm sorry it happened to you, and I'm sorry that you're reliving it on your birthday week, but I appreciate you calling.
It's all right. It's okay. It was like fantastic. You need to call in and tell that story because it's just too good.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it as always. I'll talk to you later. What's that? Wait, I didn't hang up yet. I heard you talking.
How is Barstool versus America?
Oh, it was a nightmare. It was a full nightmare, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to see it, but it was a nightmare. I'm still in recovery mode big time. So thank you for asking.
Well, I'm so excited to watch it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good night to you. Good night to your mother. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right, that's my girl Jillian. Let's hit a break and we'll come back and do our last segment, voicemails. And welcome back to our last segment, our voicemail segment. Let us play our voicemail for the evening. Last call. That's right. I honestly forgot the name of my last segment. I don't know if you guys could tell right there. I was just like, our voicemails. I always forget to like say the names of the segments, even though I like came up with them and I love them. I just like talk through them every single time. So last call. Let us play the voicemail.
Hi there. My name's Dakota, and I'm going to tell you about my first breakup. So I was
heartbreaking.
16, and he was, my first boyfriend, my first everything. Like literally everything. I never thought I was going to marry this kid, but I really liked him. And one random weekend, I was going to babysit my little cousin, and I was actively driving there, and my boyfriend knew that. So he calls me on the phone, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like driving to my cousin's house still, like to go babysit them. He's like, "Oh, so I've been thinking, And I said to him, I was like, you're breaking
Never
up with
a
me,
good
aren't
thing.
you? And he was like, yeah, well, you know, ski season's coming up, so I'm going to be really busy because I have to ski and I'm going to be up in the mountains every weekend. And, you know, so all of my friends think it is the funny. I hung up on him as soon as he told me ski season was his excuse for breaking up with me. So all of my friends still make fun of me to this day because my first boyfriend broke up with me for ski season. So every winter, whenever advertisements start coming out, they're like, uh-oh, better watch out, ski season's coming up. And they always joke that the boys are going to stop talking to me in the wintertime. Well, thanks. Bye, love you.
A couple things about this voicemail. One, it's hilarious. Obviously, it's hilarious. Two, it's slightly traumatizing. I think the idea of like being panicked around wintertime, ski season, that someone's gonna dump you if you're already in a relationship, that shit sticks with you. Like that's like something, excuse me, that's like something that would come up and worry me in the wintertime. Like it'd be like almost Thanksgiving. I'd be like, fuck, like I gotta make sure I hold on to my boyfriend. Like I gotta make sure I have control of the situation because I got dumped when I was 16. I just love the creativity here. I love the, it's obviously an excuse to break up. They did the exact opposite of cuffing season, which is of course the fall. Nobody wants to be in a relationship during the summer. It's always hot girl summer, hot boy summer. Everybody just wants to run out and fuck around and just like have fun and make out with strangers at bars. So nobody wants to be in a relationship during the summer. That's like the most common like, you know, what is it? The most common thing that people do is like break up before the summertime because they want to be single. And then everybody gets back together in the fall when they don't want to spend the dark, lonely winter by themselves. And this man just complete opposite, flipped the script. It's ski season, baby. I'm sorry. I'm going to be up on the mountains every single weekend, 6 a.m., hitting those slopes. I don't have time to be texting you a good morning. I don't have to be time to be calling you up and asking about your day because my day is going to be full of that fresh powder. My day is going to be so full of skis and slopes that I don't even have room to think about a single soul other than myself and this fucking mountain right here. That's that boy. And I want to be mad at him. I want to be mad, truly. But I just think it's maybe one of the funniest excuses ever. So yeah, that sucks. It sucks super bad. Gio, what do you think about this breakup?
I would be so pissed.
Of course you'd be pissed. It's just
I
insane.
Don't like how she hung up. I wish she just like cursed him out or something.
I know, me too. Like that feels like she didn't get like a good bitch out off. Like
Yeah.
that's a
It sounded like
perfect
they were really
opportunity.
young, though.
For sure, 16, she said.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
like,
yeah.
that's crazy. But imagine being 16 years old and getting a fucking phone call like, hey girl, listen, I gotta break it off. The slopes, they're calling my name. Like, I'm married to the slopes at this point. Like, that's it.
I would never be able to, like, that would, like, haunt me in my nightmares.
100% it would. Like, she was saying that her friends, like, joke around with her or whatever. Now being like, whoop, if you have a boyfriend, like, be careful, whatever. I'd be like, hey, guys, actually stop because I'm traumatized. Like, I don't want to, this joke isn't funny. Like, please stop. That would be me. That would be me every single time. I think that, I don't know. I think it's a tough situation. But it's really not that tough, I guess. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He wants to like hook up with ski bunnies, probably. Who fucking knows? Who knows? Gio, do we have time for one or two more of the DMs before we get out of here?
Yeah, we could do one more.
Fabulous. Pick a good one. I think there's a double one that I like that had like two parts to it. I don't know. It's bigger than the others. Because I had to makeshift. Yeah, here we go. Max took me to the place that we had our first date at, a Panera, and then broke up with me before our food was ready, so the buzzer was going off during it. That is... First of all, Panera's ruined. You can't ever go back to a Panera, which sucks because I actually love Panera. Some people say it's trash. I think it's amazing. The Mediterranean veggie sandwich is so good. The broccoli cheddar soup, so good. Like, a lot of things are great at Panera. To be getting like broken up with while a buzzer is going off to pick up your like fucking baguette side of chips, like that's just worst case scenario. So embarrassing, so terrible. I'm sorry that happened to those people. I'm sorry about everybody's breakups that they've ever had to deal with over the years. But we just, think about it like this. What doesn't kill you make you stronger, Kelly Clarkson. Like that's just really all you have to think about is how these relationships, how these breakups, how these things have molded you into the person that you are today and how you move forward into your life with this new information. Are you going to become a bitter old troll forever? Maybe you want to be a bitter old troll for like a little while, but you can't be that way forever. You have to live your life. You have to rebound. You have to come back. You have to keep love on the brain and just, you know, find that person for you who's not going to dump you at a fucking Panera while the buzzer's going off. So thank you guys for submitting all your voicemails, all of your calls, everything that we've talked about today when it concerns breakups, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Mwah.